My name is Aisha. I am based in Edinburgh. I am a Muslim, and today we're going to be talking about Ramadan and things to keep at the back of your mind whilst actually driving.
Hi Aisha, thank you for joining us today here at People's Fords. It's really lovely to meet you.
Likewise, Asha. It's amazing to be here and really excited to dive really deep into the topic we're talking about today.
And you're definitely the only other Aisha that I've ever met, so that's always exciting. And could you maybe just tell us a little bit about Ramadan and what that then means for your lifestyle for the next month?
Absolutely. So during the month of Ramadan, Muslims from around the world engage in fasting. It's not an intermittent fasting as some people think. It is no food, no water from the early hours of dawn till dusk in the evening. And I did say no water because there's absolutely no hydration as well during that period, and you can already start to imagine what that would feel like when driving, not having drank enough water, not having eaten anything. Your energy levels are going to be much lower. That's why I think it's really critical that we have this conversation about what to keep at the back of your mind when driving and when sitting at the back seat and being on the road.
So as somebody who's fasting, I am really interested in learning more about things that you think you need to consider when you are behind the wheel.
Of course, I've got 5 tips and then I've got a bonus tip at the end as well. The first one really is just making sure that during those hours after you've broken your fast and before you start fasting again, you've ate as much as possible and you've drank enough of water such that your system has gotten the necessary fuel that makes it such that you don't get too tired, you don't get too hungry whilst actually driving. The second is to just get enough sleep. Driving already takes a lot of effort when it comes to being attentive, concentrating, focusing, and the best way you can do that is by making sure that you are well rested, such that you don't get tired, and I think that just puts you in a much better situation when actually being behind the wheel. The next thing really is to ask yourself this question: do I really have to make this trip? Because you want to make sure that you're avoiding any unnecessary travel such that you're really managing the little energy that you have. Is it possible for you to take a bus? Can a friend help you out? Just really think about whether or not this is a trip that is worth making.
Like you say, there's so many things to consider that people obviously might not consider. It's so easy just to live your life as normal and just get behind the wheel without thinking, oh, I've not had water in how many hours, I've not had any food in how many hours.
So this leads us really nicely into the next tip, which is to plan ahead. So you have decided, absolutely, yes, I have to go and drive my mom to the hospital because it's critical.
It's probably the same for a lot of people where they have to drive. It's a
exactly.
They don't have any other option.
Yeah, and the reason that this is critical is because you want to give yourself enough time and space to pace yourself whilst driving. The last thing you want to do is to be rushing or to be trying to skip traffic. Your body and mind is already working on very little sugar. You haven't drank water in a while, and you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best possible situation.
Yeah, no, definitely, that's a great top tip.
The next thing, which is very, very critical, is to be extra considerate. And just keep in mind that because you haven't eaten and you're hungry, chances are you have a higher risk of getting angry.
Yep.
And that is the last thing we want, because when you get riled up, there's a higher risk of there being a collision, which is something we want to avoid by all means possible.
No, definitely, that's a great top tip.
Thank you, Aisha. Asha.
We'll get there.
So the last point is to pull over if you're feeling unwell, right? If and it goes back to just being aware of your body and your belly. If your stomach is grumbling, or if you can feel yourself starting to doze off because you're tired, just pull over. Just take a couple minutes before you get back driving again. I find listening to something whilst driving really helps, because then you can actually have something else that you're engaging in that's just keeping you going. Just find something that you can listen to that will keep you attentive and actually, aware of what is going on around you, and not just what's going on in your belly.
Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in here to People's Ford to tell us a little bit more about yourself and, of course, the month of Ramadan, and for sharing your top tips as a driver throughout the month. I hope you and everyone else fasting has a very blessed month.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Bring it in.